두근대는 그때 기억이 이제는 아련해지고 추억이 달처럼 벅차올라서 오늘도 나를 웃게 해.
Welcome to Wheel of Justice. Please take out your phones, but don't turn them off. Open your phone's internet browser and go to www.menti.com and enter the code on the screen. If you need Wi-Fi, the login details are also on the screen. Please remember to put your phone on silent and to keep it on you at all times. You will need it during the show. Thank you.
For nearly 1,000 years, our jury system has been the cornerstone of justice in Northern Ireland. The most serious crimes were judged by randomly selected citizens, and their deliberations were shrouded in mystery. But in 2020, all that changed. Now criminal trials are televised nationwide, and you, the audience, are judge, jury, and executioner. Real criminals, real punishments, right here on Wheel of Justice!
Yes, welcome one and all. It's time for another episode of... That's right, folks, Wheel of Justice, the show where the burden of proof is fun and the sentencing is on you. Now, for those who've just joined us, let me catch you up on the week's proceedings. Today is the final day in the trial of Kate McNeil, who is accused of
murder in the first.
The victim in question is 65-year-old invalid and lovely woman Dorothy Proctor. Dorothy was found at the foot of her stairs, covered in blood. The body was found by her carer, who was, you guessed it, folks, Kate McNeil. Spooky stuff. Now, so far this week, we've heard from a blood splatter analysis expert. We've heard from Kate's ex-girlfriend. And we've heard from a celebrity tarot card reader whose feeling was guilty. Uh-oh, Kate. Now, to kick things off, let's introduce our teams. For the prosecution, it's the doer, it's the brilliant, it's Senior Counsel Richard P. Nolan.
Good evening, Daniel David.
Good evening, Richard. May I say, you are looking fabulous today. How do you think the trial has been going so far?
Brilliantly, thank you. I'm clearly winning.
Ah, salty! I love it. Now, a little birdie told me today is your birthday.
Oh, that is so embarrassing. Who told you?
How old are you now, Richard? 21.
You old flirt.
You're the tease, Richard. You!
Oh, I am terrible.
Now, what's your favourite punishment from the wheel?
You know, I do love a good hanging.
Don't we all? Ladies and gentlemen, Rich P. Nolan! Now, for the defence, you know her, you love her, it's Senior Counsel Sarah Galloway. Sarah Galloway, they love you. And how are you feeling today?
Confident, as usual.
And how's your client feeling?
Well, she's sick to her stomach. Kate has been vomiting all morning, and this is a gross miscarriage of justice.
Get on with it, Sarah.
Eat me, Nolan.
Now, what is your plan for today, the final day of trial?
I plan to win.
And that's a good plan! Ladies and gentlemen, Sarah Galloway. And finally, let's bring out the reason we're all here. It is the accused, Ms. Kate McNeil. Don't wave. Thank you. Please make your way to the dock. Now, it's time for me to tell you the rules. So, today, the prosecution and the defense will battle it out, but in the end, the fate of our defendant lies in your hands. You, the audience at home and in our studio today, will cast your vote to decide Kate's fate. And while we still venerate the presumption of innocence, it's not 2020 anymore. Here at Wheel of Justice, we guarantee transparency, accountability, and speed of conviction. But most importantly, we give you a voice. We will show you all relevant information pertaining to this trial. If you have a doubt in your mind, examine it thoroughly. But do not let a criminal benefit from that doubt. And that's the bell. You know what that means. It's time for round one. It's time for Star Witness. Now, prosecution goes first. So, Richard, how are you feeling today? You have 3 witnesses left on your list, but only one can be Star Witness. Would you like to call your witness, or would you like to ask the audience?
Today, Daniel David, I feel great. Call whoever you like, I'll win this either way. The prosecution moves to ask the audience.
A bold move from the prosecution there. So, ask the audience means that you, our audience, will choose the prosecution star witness. If you look at your devices now, you will see 3 options. They are option 1, Sophie Healy, Kate's old Miles teacher. Option 2, Dr. Salog McCardle, the pathologist who examined the body of the deceased. Or option 3, Constable Stella Kenny, the arresting PSNI officer. You will have 30 seconds to make your decision. While you're voting, please enjoy this CCTV footage of the defendant making her way to the victim's house on the night of the murder. Your time starts now. Thank you so much for voting. Let's have a look at the results. Okay, so we have 18% for the Miles teacher, 36% for the police officer, and a whopping 45% for the pathologist. Prosecution, call your star witness.
Prosecution calls Dr. Salog McCardle. Dr. McCardle, can you tell the court what you do, please?
I am the forensic pathologist with the Department of Justice. I was assigned Dorothy Proctor's case.
What was your initial understanding of Mrs. Proctor's death?
From the report, I understood that the victim had been found on Saturday morning after having, apparently, fallen down the stairs. I've been asked to look at what is considered to be a relatively routine death.
But this wasn't a relatively routine death, was it, Dr. McCardle?
No. Upon opening the body bag, I immediately became aware that the victim had very severe head injuries. So I contacted CID for details of the crime scene.
And how did that conversation go?
I was informed that because the death had been deemed accidental, no protocols had been taken to preserve the scene.
And what was your response to that?
I said, "You fucked this."
We're past the watershed. I'll allow it.
Why did you say that?
Because I thought they had fucked this.
Can you expand on that?
Upon examining the body, it became obvious to me that this death should have been regarded as suspicious, and the photographs of the scene did nothing to allay my fears. There was no blood on the stairs. No injuries consistent with falling down the stairs. Honestly, I'm baffled that the first respondents didn't treat this as suspicious.
Why did CID think the victim fell down the stairs?
Oh, I believe that theory came from the person who found the body. Miss McNeil.
Dr. McCardle, can you describe the head injuries sustained by the victim?
The victim had 4 severe head wounds at the back of her head, extremely close together. If she had fallen down the stairs, she would have to have hit her head 4 times in exactly the same place.
Is that even possible?
It's possible, but not probable.
So what did you determine was the cause of death?
Homicide.
And the time of death?
Time of death was approximately 10:30 on the 5th of June.
As this court has seen, we have CCTV of Miss McNeil driving in the direction of Mrs. Proctor's house at 10:08 p.m. on the 5th of June. So, Dr. McCardle, is it fair to assume that Miss McNeil would have been there at the time of the murder?
Oh, I think it is fair to assume that she would have been there at the time of the murder.
Objection! Is counsel asking the witness's expert opinion as a clairvoyant?
Withdrawn.
The jury will disregard the witness's last statement.
Dr. McCardle, do you think a woman could have inflicted these head wounds on Dorothy Proctor?
Oh, yes.
Oh, come on!
Your Honor, I won't be heckled.
Mrs. Proctor was hit with something heavy. Her attacker came from behind, and the first blow would have been sufficient to render her unconscious.
One last question. To your knowledge, was the attacker left-handed or right-handed?
Oh, I believe she was left-handed.
And do you know, is the defendant left-handed?
I believe she is.
Thank you, Dr. McCardle. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Well, if that's not a slam dunk, I don't know what is. Now, I assume there will be some cross from the defense.
Absolutely there will be. Dr. McCardle, how do you know the defendant is left-handed?
I was told so by the arresting officer.
I see, so you don't actually know that she's left-handed.
I believe the arresting officer.
Right. Dr. McCardle, how long have you worked for the Department of Justice?
I'm not sure.
Excuse me?
I said I'm not sure.
You don't know how long you've worked your own job for, I mean, Your Honor. If the witness can't provide exact dates of how long she's worked her own job, how can we be expected to believe anything that she says?
Excellent point, Doctor. Answer the question.
18 months.
18 months?
18 months!
Objection. What is the relevance of this?
Overruled. I like where this is going.
Dr. McCardle, in relation to the death, when did you examine the body?
What do you mean?
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that any more clearly.
I performed the examination on the 9th of June.
Hang on. Mrs. Proctor died on the night of the 5th of June. So you didn't examine the body until 4 days after death?
As I said, the death was deemed accidental.
But if you didn't even see the body until 4 days later, how could you determine such a specific time of death?
Well, officially, the time of death was between 10 p.m. and 3 a.m.
Oh, this is a huge discrepancy. Moments ago, you told us that the time of death was 10:30 p.m. You can see why this could be misleading, can't you?
Well, my assessment...
I think we all know what your assessment is. So, Dr. McCardle, did you find any evidence on the victim's body to indicate that my client committed this crime? Anything under her fingernails, any strands of hair, any DNA at all?
Oh, there was plenty of Kate McNeil's DNA in the house.
Of course there is plenty of Kate McNeil's DNA in the house. My client is Mrs. Proctor's carer. She washes her clothes, she prepares her meals, she cleans her house, she looks after her. So I think what I'm saying is do you have any forensic evidence whatsoever to suggest that my client, Kate McNeil, attacked and murdered Dorothy Proctor?
No.
A straight answer. Finally. Thank you. Defense has no more questions.
Did you see that? The witness is excused. With thanks. Well, that, my friends, was a hell of a ride. Round one, always filled with surprises. And what a fantastic witness. Now, it's time for my favorite part of the show. Of course, I am talking about Fill the Wheel! Yes, my friends, it is time to fill that wheel, and not a moment too soon. Can we bring out the wheel, please? Oh, dear God in heaven, I love this wheel. Now, as you can see, the wheel is blank, and we need you to populate it. So for those who've just joined us, let me explain how it's going to work. At the end of the show, you will be asked to vote on Kate McNeil's innocence. Your options will be guilty, not guilty, or are you unsure? And afterwards, we will, of course, spin the wheel! We will spin the wheel to decide Kate's sentence. So before that, we need to fill the wheel with sentences. So if you look at your devices, you will see a list of 10 punishments and 10 prizes. If Kate is found guilty, we will spin the wheel with punishments only. If she's found not guilty, we will spin the wheel with prizes only. And if you're unsure, both prizes and punishments will stay up there. And the wheel herself will decide Kate's fate. You will have 15 seconds to pick your punishment, 15 seconds to pick your prize. Vote for as many as you like, go crazy, but the top 5 of each will go on the wheel. Can I get 30 seconds on the clock, please? While you're voting, please enjoy this audio recording of Kate McNeil's first interview with the police. Your time starts now.
I understand you've been advised by the duty solicitor, and that is your prerogative, okay? That is your right, but Kate, today is your chance to tell your side of the story. Was it self-defense? No comment. Did you know Dorothy? No comment. Okay, we know you did know Dorothy. Why did you ask that then?
I will remind you of my advice.
No comment. How did you feel about Dorothy's death? No comment. Are you upset? No comment. You don't look upset. Kate, I'll ask you once more. Did you attack and kill Dorothy Proctor at her home on the 5th of June? No comment.
And that is time. Thank you so much for your votes. We will see the wheel populated during this next round, because it's time for round 2. It's time to testify now! Testify now is when the defendant finally gets her chance to testify. So, I asked the defense, does your client wish to testify?
Oh, yes, Daniel David, she most certainly does.
Well, you know what that means. It means Kate McNeil, come on down! Don't wave! Told you before. The gloves are off!
Ms. McNeil, hello. Can you tell the court what you do for a living?
I'm a private carer.
Could you explain that, please, for those of us who are unfamiliar with that role?
I work for an agency that deals with elderly people who can no longer take care of themselves.
Do you like your job?
It's rewarding.
Seems to be. Pay good?
Pays okay.
Do you get tips?
No,
Do you ever take tips?
I'm not sure what you mean.
2 years ago, you were fired from Avondale Nursing Home. Why were you fired, Miss McNeil?
My manager and I had a difference of opinion.
Really? That's an interesting way to put it. Because what actually happened is that they caught you stealing from a woman in a coma.
It was a misunderstanding.
Really? Because I'm told they caught you on camera.
I was borrowing bus fare from a client who had been unconscious for 2 years. I returned that money.
How good of you. Miss McNeil, would you describe yourself as a greedy person?
Objection, he's asking the witness to incriminate herself.
Withdrawn. Miss McNeil, several people reported that you had a sudden influx of cash in the weeks just after Dorothy Proctor's death. You bought a MacBook Pro for £5,000, a 55-inch television for £2,000, and a gelato maker for £500. All between June 4th and June 24th. 20 days. Were you planning on starting a gelato business?
Objection!
Overruled! Ice cold!
What's a gelato business?
I'm not sure, Miss McNeil. You tell me.
No, I wasn't.
Where'd the money come from?
I won it. Gambling.
What kind of gambling?
Card game. Cash buy-in to an anonymous game.
How deeply convenient.
Well, actually, it's not very convenient for me right now.
Did you know Dorothy kept cash hidden around the house?
No.
Are you sure?
Objection.
No, I didn't.
I find that difficult to believe.
Objection.
I think you knew where Dorothy Proctor kept her cash. I think you were there every day, cooking, cleaning, watching, and waiting. You knew where Dorothy hid her cash, and you wanted it, didn't you? So you waited for your moment to strike.
Objection. Badgering the witness.
Badgering the witness! You know what that means!
In your initial statement to the police, you admit you drove back to Dorothy's house on the night of June 5th. Why did you go back?
I was working with Dorothy that day and I'd forgotten my purse, so I went back to get it. But when I rang the doorbell, there was no answer, so I just went home again.
What time are you home by?
10:30.
But no one can corroborate that, can they?
I live alone, so no.
Miss McNeil, look, I have to be honest. You were fired from your last job for stealing from an invalid. You've admitted to being at the scene of the crime, and just tonight, a respected pathologist told this court she believes the victim's attacker to be left-handed. Can you
But
see?
I'm not left-handed.
How are we supposed to believe you, Kate? Let's dispense with the formalities. Answer this. Did you murder Dorothy Proctor?
No.
Maybe it was just another misunderstanding. The prosecution rests, Your Honor.
Sarah Galloway, bring this baby home.
Kate, how's your hand-eye coordination?
Not great.
Never any good at sports?
No. No, God, no.
Could you catch this? Let the records show that Kate McNeil caught the ball with her right hand because you're not left-handed, are you, Kate?
No, I'm not. I'm right-handed.
The arresting officer thought he saw Kate sign her statement with her left hand, but she didn't. The defense rests.
Did you see that? Let's go to the action replay. Now that's what I call the catch of the day. Now that's the end of the round. It's finally time for round 3. It's time to cast your vote. If you look at your devices now, you will see 3 options. Guilty, not guilty, or unsure. Cast your vote for the defendant. This is very important. You will only have 10 seconds to make your decision. Can I get 10 seconds on the clock, please? Is Kate McNeil guilty or innocent? Friends, start voting. And time is up. Thank you so much for all your votes. While we tally those, let's bring out the wheel! Dear God in heaven, I love this wheel. Now, for the last time, Kate McNeil, you have been charged of the crime of murder in the first degree. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
They all say that! Can we reveal the audience's verdict, please? We have a not guilty vote! We have a not guilty vote! This game never ceases to surprise me. You know what that means? It means we remove the punishments from the wheel. And Kate McNeil, come on down to spin your prize.
Yes!
Whew. Now, Kate, how are you feeling today?
I am so relieved.
As you should be. You're on the home stretch now. Okay, kid. Spin that wheel. I remind you, if it lands in a red, where the punishments were, we will spin the wheel again. We've got our cuddles from puppies. That's gone, that's gone. House cat, it's coming up. A house cat. No, no. Might be on around. Cuddles from puppies. Cuddles from puppies. Will we get cuddles from puppies? It's cuddles from puppies! We have cuddles from puppies!
Oh my God, is that for real?
It is for real! Or it would be if it isn't someone's very special birthday.
What? Oh, but it's not my birthday.
Not you, kid. Richard Nolan, come on down!
Oh, God, I am so embarrassed. Are we doing this?
We're doing this.
What does this mean for me?
Just shut up for a second, kid. Okay, so long-term viewers will know when it is someone's very special birthday, we allow the birthday person to override the wheel. Now, Richard, I know we'd all love to see Kate get some cuddles from puppies, but it is your birthday, so the decision lies with you. What would you like to see happen to Kate?
Oh, that is such a tough question. Maybe you guys could help me out.
Yeah, what do we think? Stick with puppies or move?
Stick! Yes,
We've got puppies here.
Yes.
That's my job. We've
We've got a killer. Oh, we've got a very aggressive man at the back there.
Yeah, some
Anything
angry
else?
people.
Guillotine, we've got a guillotine here.
We've got a guillotine. Oh, no, sorry. Well,
Okay.
I do love.
Yes, Santa Ponza.
That was Santa Ponza.
Santa Ponza.
No.
Richard does not like Santa Ponza. Okay, Richard.
I just heard a hanging, and it is my birthday, so it's going to be my favorite. It has to be hanging.
Hanging! Woo!
I just love it.
And we love you.
That is so sweet.
Look, I didn't want to say anything earlier because I didn't want it to look like I was trying to garner favour or anything, but I'm pregnant.
Yes, yes.
No, I am. I'm 10 weeks pregnant, so please.
Hey, to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Richard P. Nolan. Happy birthday to you. Well, folks, that is all we have got time for. I've been Daniel David Walker. This has been Kate McNeil, and you have been incredible. Tune in next time for another episode of Justice. So, it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye to Kate, and we'll see you next time. Woo!
Just a two. Yeah, me.